I brought my daughter back from the dead, biggest mistake of my life. I sold my wedding ring for $50 and used the money to buy access to a private forum buried deep online. The post at the top said, second chances granted, no refunds. 3 months ago, my daughter drowned in our backyard pool while I was inside answering a work email. I replay that moment every night, the splash I didn't hear, the silence I didn't question. When the message popped up, I was too tired to think. What do you want back? I typed, my daughter. The reply came instantly. Tomorrow morning, be ready. Payment collected at sunset. I didn't sleep. At 7:03 a.m., I heard small footsteps in the hallway, a soft knock on my bedroom door. Daddy, I'm hungry. I froze. I opened the door and she was there. Pink pajamas, tangled hair, the tiny scar on her chin from falling off her scooter. I dropped to my knees and held her so tight she laughed and told me I was being weird. Everything was perfect. Too perfect. She didn't spill her juice, didn't argue, didn't blink much, just watched me with wide, patient eyes. At sunset, my phone buzzed. Enjoying your second chance? I locked every door in the house. That night, she stood at the edge of my bed. You didn't hear me that day, she said calmly. I called for you. Tears burned my throat. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. She tilted her head. The deal wasn't to bring me back, she whispered. It was to trade places. Cold water began pooling across my sheets. My lungs tightened. She smiled softly as everything faded. You get to rest now, she said. And I realized the payment wasn't money. It was breath. I caught my stepfather admitting he stole my money. I worked 3 jobs for a year straight. Morning shifts at a coffee shop, afternoons tutoring, night warehouse loading trucks until my hands blistered. Every dollar went into one goal, moving out. I kept the cash sealed inside a metal lockbox hidden behind a loose vent in my closet. $6,400, my escape fund. Only one person knew about it. My stepfather. He used to joke at dinner, "You're getting rich in my house." He'd smile, but it never reached his eyes. Last week, I found a tiny studio apartment near campus. Cheap, safe, mine. I told my mom. I'd sign the lease Friday. She looked nervous. He looked quiet. The night before I was supposed to pay the deposit, I checked the vent. Empty. The box was gone. I tore my room apart. I accused no one. I just asked. He laughed and said, maybe you imagined it. That's a lot of cash to misplace. The next afternoon, a brand new gaming setup filled the living room. Giant TV, leather recliner, latest console. He stood there admiring it like a king in his castle. I asked calmly, how did you afford this? He shrugged. Family money, I pressed. What family money? He looked straight at me and said, you live here. Your money is our money. My heart stopped. Then something clicked. I pulled out my phone and said, say that again. He rolled his eyes and repeated it. I dialed 911. He lunged for the phone. I stepped back and gave the address. When officers arrived, I showed them my pay stubs and the recording. He tried to call it a household misunderstanding. One officer said, that's theft. By the end of the night, the gaming setup was being returned. My family says I embarrassed him. I say I protected myself. I caught my stepfather admitting he stole my money. I worked 3 jobs for a year straight. Morning shifts at a coffee shop, afternoons tutoring, night warehouse loading trucks until my hands blistered. Every dollar went into one goal, moving out. I kept the cash